feel a bit rough, Eddie. Can I call you Eddie or Creddy Eddie? Christ. Sorry about that. What I'd like to say is you're right. When I made that video, I was seeing my own point of view of how an Aspie should be, and I wasn't really thinking of some people can be really, really anxious about going out. I'll give you an example. My mum wanted me to go out with Magni to a pub that does a carvery, and I wanted to go, but then I thought, no way, there's no way I can go, because then I'd have to queue up, and what if, you know, they gave me a choice of how many different cuts of meat I wanted, and I didn't, you know, and then when you finally get there with your plate, you got to put sauces on the plate, and other people are waiting for you to finish putting your sauces on so they can put their sauces on, so you end up anxious, and then you got to carry the plate all the way over to where you were sitting, you know. And this goes through your mind, and then how many people are going to be there and everything else. So you're right. You're right. I'm mild. As you know, I'm mild AS. I mean, I've said this enough times, and I'm sure there's people out there that get very anxious about all kinds of situations, even looking at somebody and talking to somebody or knowing what to say. So I was being a bit unfair, I must admit. I was saying that Aspies should really get off their bum basically and go out there, but obviously if you're rejected all the time, you're going to get very antisocial or suicidal. I mean, I agree with that. You know, when I made that, I just was thinking possibly I was getting sick and tired of the Aspies that are woe is me attitude. The woe is me attitude really annoys me. The, oh, I can't do that because of this and all that. And I was trying to say that if someone thinks positively about something, then people will be attracted to them, their positive ways, you know. But if you're constantly negative, you're going to push people away. And that's what I was actually saying, you know. If you actually are negative, you push people away. If you say, oh my God, I can't do that because I can't do this, I can't do the other, then why should anyone else believe any different? So that's what I was trying to say. I do know Aspies that haven't got a girlfriend and never will have a girlfriend because they literally can't relate to people. They can't relate NT or otherwise AS, you know. I mean, there's some women I don't get on with who are AS, who are very sharp actually. I mean, they don't empathise. I'll give you an example. If you said to them, my nan died in 1995, like you know, my nan did die in 1995, they'd say, well, what do you expect me to do about it? That's the past, get on with it. They won't, you know, they won't empathise and say, oh, I'm very sorry to hear that. So I don't get on with those kind of Aspies, which are mainly female Aspies, are very, very similar to that. And when it comes to women, I've been lucky. I've started off, I would say, in my 20s with a long-term relationship, although I had women before then. This was like a long-term, few-month job, and progressed. I did get used by a lot of women who were domineering and older than me and wanted to be in control and all the rest of it. But let's face it, 20, you know, you enjoy that. But I was treated like crap and they did cheat and everything else. But you know, that's life. That's the past. That's the past. But I've been lucky. At least it's better to have loved and lost than never to have ever loved, you know, as that saying goes. So I've been lucky that I've managed to have some love in my life. I've been lucky that I've had someone to share my bed with most of the time. These chavs that say I'm gay or whatever, I mean, they can believe it if they want, you know. I mean, to be honest, they've got a problem with their sexuality. I certainly haven't got a problem with my sexuality, but they obviously got problems with gays and stuff like that, so they've obviously got a problem with the sexuality. So I'll leave them to that one. They're very, very immature. Well, I'm not going to say the R word, but I'm glad I'm an Aspie, because otherwise I'd hate to be like that, you know. I'd hate to be calling people gay and queer and stuff like that and trying to make out there was something I wasn't. You know. We all have to live, we all have to breathe the same air on this planet, and why certain plebs, or plebeians, as I should say stuff about, you know, if people are gay or whatever. It just makes me laugh. I think they redefine the word retard. They redefine it to the next level, you know. I would like to say that your comments are very valid, and that my video is aimed at the sort of Aspie that doesn't want to do anything for himself at all, not the one that's tried and failed. I'm on about the one that doesn't do anything, the one that flipping well says, oh, I can't get a girlfriend, I can't get a job, I can't go down to the shops on my own because somebody might look at me or whatever. There's no such word as can't. But if you try it once and someone does look at you in a certain way, or if you try it once and you can't get a job, or you try it once and you can't get a girlfriend, at least you've tried. At least you can say, well, I tried and I failed, but I tried. I'm going to put notices all over my flat, and it's all going to say positive aspects of everything, positive things, because positively is that we wake up for a start off, you know, that there's a nice walk around here where I can walk and enjoy myself. But I do have somebody in my life called Magni. And that's another thing as well. I don't see her as ugly, but if other people see her as ugly, that's their problem, because, to be honest, she's a sweet girl, and that's their problem. And I've been out with some women who've been absolutely gorgeous, and yet are treating me like crap. She treats me decently. She treats me, not, you know, with respect, and we have a good time. So, you know, I just feel it's just such a shame, you know, that people don't try a bit harder with Aspies. Why they don't try a bit harder to understand why we are a bit jagged, a bit rough around the edges, I'd say, you know. Take things literally. We may not look them in the eye or whatever, but we're good people, you know. We're genuine people. We don't flipping well make up bull. You know, we say it as it is. We don't go around drinking strong lager and then picking fights off people. You know, and that's a shame. All the inventors and that were probably Aspie. Einstein was probably Aspie. Galileo, Newton. You know, all the best in history, you know, probably had those autistic traits. So, if it wasn't for somebody inventing football, there'd be no football, obviously. So some intelligent bloke had to invent that. Someone who thought out the box, someone who wanted to do something different. And this is the thing that gets me about NTs and that. They laugh about Aspies and that, but if it wasn't for Aspies, this world would be a terrible place. I mean, you'd have no football, you'd have no telly, you'd have no computers. You'd have nothing. We wouldn't even have electricity. So it wouldn't be in the we'd be in the dark ages. So the things that, you know, amaze me about NTs, not all NTs, but a lot of these, okay, I'll call them NTs with a load of E's, because people who feel like, call people retards, yet wear these fake gold chains and try and act tough and hang around in gangs and drink Fosters and think they're hard, and you know, I find it very pathetic that somebody who professes to have an intelligence would go around and act like a pleb, you know. Anyone can act like a prick. Anyone can act like they're hard. Anyone can flip and intimidate weaker people. It doesn't take a brain or genius, you know. Do something positive with your lives, that's what I say. Anyway, take care. Bye for now.